Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Naukri Campus Expert Speak session for today. And moving forward, today's session is especially important for all of us present here, especially for the college students and freshers looking out for their first job. Because as we were taught in college, that career rules are changing and they are changing and evolving way faster than we can imagine. Degrees still matter, but what companies today are looking forward are more than just degrees. We are today talking about the AI first careers, what actually the big tech companies today look for beyond the marks, the resumes, the certifications, and everything. And companies like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon, they just don't hire, no longer actually hire just for your degrees and everything. They hire you for your executions and AI skills. They are actually today hiring for problem solving, decision making, and the ability to work with AI. And for this, we are very lucky to have a speaker who has seen this shift firsthand and across three of the world's most influential tech companies. Let me introduce you to our speaker for the session, Sujit Kumar Pradhan. Welcome, Sujit.
Thank you.
Sujit is an UX designer at Google, and he's a computer science engineer by training, and he specializes in AI and agentic experience design, bridging deep technical system knowledge with human-centered product thinking, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, he has worked on cutting edge innovations such as the Copilot Vision, the AI camera, and the AI Edge browser. And currently, he's focused on designing autonomous agentic experiences for people operations team, which is enabling trusted and transparent human AI collaboration. And beyond his professional work, Sujit is an active design mentor and tech content creator, helping students and professionals adapt to the shift from the static tools to intelligent and AI driven systems, if I may say, making him a really highly relevant voice for today college students and freshers who are navigating to the AI first careers. Welcome to the session, Sujit. Over to you.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction and the brief. Let me share my screen and then we can start. Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining the session, taking your time out for this session. As we were talking, like how important it is to understand how the shift is going on in the industry, and we'll be talking about this soon around it. To start with, um, I know. We have already like thanks for giving the intro around this and yeah, I have gone through the shift. I've seen the career moving from a very maybe a degree specific to how we need different things in the industry. So let's talk about that more, and about our topic today, which is a first career. Why big tech need more than just a degree? So to understand that, I would take one step back is basically what big tech need today other than degree, and one step back which is more into why we are actually looking into this, like what is the reason we are looking into what's beyond degree and why do we need. To start with, let's talk about something which gives a aspect of around why exactly it is very relevant, and I call it as like cracking the 1% filter. Like how do you see a big tech career around it. To start with, some data's around. Like I'm a designer, so I love showing data and ground my all talking research around data. So to start with, there is something called as selective 1%. I call. Now, if I talk large tech firms like Google, Microsoft, or maybe Amazon, and there are many more around it, they get millions of application which is there, and the if I just talk about rate of acceptance, it's even less than 1%. Just to put you on a perspective, it's nearly like based on a research by Forbes, it says that nearly 10%, like 10 times it's harder to get into Google than into Harvard. So that kind of a perspective, the application versus the people who gets job into this company. Now that's where the line starts, and we say that your degree is just the starting line, where we basically see that that's where the line start, but how to get ahead of the line, how do you reach to the end of the line, we'll be talking more about it. But what is around this line, I would say, the first thing what we talk more about is lack of applied logic. So what I say is, coding maybe, but you can't solve a business problem with just a degree. So that's something is a very important aspect in the industry. You may know different tools which is there, but maybe you don't understand the exact system with this. And static projects, like which looks similar, like every project, like even I have done in my college a project which is maybe similar to there are 10 other projects, may not be very relevant right now in the market which is there. So just to talk about how a traditional system versus how a big tech reality right now looks around. So if I just talk about traditional system, so we look into like learning a specific syntax around very specific languages, or maybe very specific kind of a job you are looking for. I'm a designer, so one of the example for design is like we used to look into the screens in Figma, like what kind of screens it's being designed. And from a project development perspective, waterfall model, I know that a lot of people may have heard. It's a very common one, which is there, and we used to follow that. We used to talk about getting the right answer, which is there, and that's something I call right now is a traditional system, which was there. Now, how we have evolved in the era of AI, I would say, we are not looking more into like what kind of syntax It's more about that how do you use different kind of a cutting edge technology, or I would say AI maybe, and tomorrow there can be 10 different things to help you. Maybe you're writing a code or debugging a code, those kind of a thing. How do you design an experience rather than just saying that you are building a product? So it's more of an experience what you are making. Today in the when we develop product, there are a lot of ambiguity we face, and it's important. It's a skill set to figure out, basically to navigate the ambiguity and figure out with rapid prototyping, what we say in industry, that how quickly we can take the product to the user to get early feedback, because that saves a lot of time in industry, and find out what's the right fit, which is be we look for. Um, and asking the right question. I think the biggest thing which I keep on saying is asking the right question, which is there. Do not look for the answer, but asking the right question is very important, because we don't do often, which is there. And this is the kind of a structure which a big tech company look around when they're hiring a candidate for the job. Um, Now, there is something called as decaying curve. What we see is, if you look at your syllabus, and what we are studying right now is maybe a very relevant thing maybe in 2022, but when we are hiring, we're looking for something which is like beyond that, which is 2030, maybe, which is the future around it. And there is a research which is done by IBM which says that like technical skills now have around half of the life, like around 2.5 year. What exactly that means is, by the time you come out of the college, maybe your degree is expired, that kind of a thing, which is there. If you don't upskill yourself, just other than what's present in the maybe a curriculum or syllabus kind of a thing, which is there. So one of the very important term, if you keep on hearing in the industry, is called as unlearn and relearn kind of a thing. This is very important right now, because we are moving in a place where every year, or I would say every quarter, or even every month, things are changing. Tools are changing, the type of skill set we need is changing. So it is very important that you unlearn and relearn a new thing, which is there, because again, learning everything is next to impossible humanly. So that's why I say it is important that you unlearn and relearn. We'll look at around that example also coming next. So from a resume perspective, I know a lot of people talk about that. We apply to a job, why my resume is not been selected, and there are XYZ 50 different things around it. So there is a very common thing in the market. It's not that every company uses the same format, but it's a very common term which is called a 6 second resume audit. Uh, Recruiters spend around average of 6 to 7 seconds to scan your resume and decide on like whether I want to keep it, repurpose it, or move ahead, which is there. And this is a very initial scan. I would say it's the first level of scan, and then the qualified candidate definitely gets a more dive deep into the resume and figure out what else. And the question is like, why such a less time? It's what it basically circle back to the point which I talked in the beginning, that so many application, millions of application versus the number of roles we have to hire for. So the question is, when I give less time to maybe a unqualified application, that means I'm giving more time to evaluate a very strong application. Now, one of the very important thing we need to look around is, we don't look at candidate, but we say application. The reason being, the I would not say that a candidate is unqualified, which is it's more of the application is unqualified, because sometimes maybe we are hiring for a 2 years of experience, and then you come with a 0 years of experience and apply to the position. The problem with that is, you are not a qualified applicant, but as a candidate, maybe you are a very good candidate. So it's not that everything is judged at your skill set, that this is maybe sometime it's not fit for the role I'm hiring in the company, which is there. And that's why I say, what should I change going forward? So I keep on saying that if your resume looks like just a subject, um, I feel you have already lost that battle of the 6 second, which is there. So it need to look more from a problem solved point of view, that what are the kind of projects you have worked on, what are the experience you have, maybe an internship around it. Like there are very different kind of things around it, which is there. um, this is what we talk about, bit of resume, how a actual resume should be around it. And I always say that proof of work, like 85% of the company who hire is either through networking or proof of work, rather than just applying through a resume. Now, what does proof of work means? Proof of work means that you just don't write into a resume, you need to show with something. So for example, if you are a developer and you are saying that, hey, I have done XYZ project, the question is, do you have a proof of work to the same thing? So maybe GitHub is a very familiar to the developer world, and they're like, hey, I have contributed into the GitHub community this many times, and that is a proof of work. That gives me as a recruiter, as a hiring manager, a confidence that you have a proof of work and you are a very good candidate to evaluate around. So that's a very important thing we need to understand. Proof of work. Even if you're coming out of college, your projects, your internship really matters to us. That what you are showing, what you have built. Even if sometimes we say that even if a small project impacts a lot to a hiring manager, so it's important that you show that, which is there, rather than just saying that we have XYZ subject and this is the degree which I got after the college. So that's something important. And as I was saying that we hire but based on what exactly we have seen you build, rather than what you say that this is what I have built. So it's more of understanding that perspective. Um, there is something I call as unwritten skills, and what we talked till now is more of a skills maybe you have heard about, and there is something called as unwritten skill, which is very important and plays a pretty good factor in terms of when I'm evaluating a candidate, and which we call as product thinking skills. Now, product thinking skills, some people can come and say that, hey, if I'm going to a service company, does it make sense? Product thinking skill, I think it's a very generic. It's irrespective of what kind of product you work on, what kind of company you work on. It's more of the thinking around the problem which is there. And every company, every product in the market, every service in the market is solving some or other problems which is there. So that this product thinking skill set is more revolves around that. So product thinking ability is basically, we have stopped thinking around how, which is like a technical execution, but it's more into why do you want to solve this, and what exactly the business impact. Now if I talk 5 years before, maybe whenever we used to think a new idea, always we used to face a technical challenge that this is possible, this is not possible. right now we are in a era where the technology have moved far, five, I would say more than 5 years ahead of us. So whatever you think is possible with an AI and different kind of a upskill we have in terms of technology. So it's so that's why it's very important that you start thinking around this kind of a thing, that why we are building, is it really required, what is the business impact we wanted to bring across, which is there. So for example, just a quick example, that big tech don't just want an engineer who can write a like a Python script or something. We want an engineer who basically tells us that this is the most efficient or helpful for user, and in kind of an emergency or the kind of app you are building. So those are the kind of skill set we look for, which is there. And design thinking, as I said, again, there is a research around design thinking, that design thinking and product maturity, which we say, helps in revenue growth for a company. So that's why they look for this kind of a skill set in a candidate. So that's why you will see there is not one round we evaluate, there are multiple rounds. So every round have certain skill set we wanted to evaluate. Your technical skill set definitely is there, but then comes there are other skill sets which we are looking into, which is called as unwritten skill set. um, Now we are moving to an era where I say it's a like a era where it's a new conductor. So from execution to AI orchestration, we are moving to a era of like AI skill sets. So it's very important to understand how it's changing our work, and why it's changing. So in 2022 we used to hire people who can build things. In 2026 I say it's more of an architect we wanted to hire, who knows why to build, how to build, what exactly is impact, what to build around that. So in the older model, like human were always in the loop, you used to do every step in a process, create everything. Whereas in the newer model we say human on the loop. So what does basically it means that you set the goal, what you want to achieve, which is called as why. You review the work which maybe a system or something is doing, and then you course correct. So it's not that AI is so full-fledged that you leave and everything the AI can do. It's not. That's why I call human is always relevant in this entire loop. So it's called as on the loop. It's not that out of the loop, which is there. So you need to course correct always that where you're going. So it's more of a vehicle you're driving. You need to course correct where exactly you're moving towards. But it helps you to reach there faster and in a very efficient way, which is there. So again, AI assisted developer, we have seen like 55% faster they can work, rather than not using AI or a new technologies which is coming into future. And that's what we look for a skill set around different kind of this new tool. How do you use it in your daily work, and what makes you better and stand out other than other candidates who are in the pipeline. So again, I always say that AI as a career is more of a co-pilot for you that will be always with you and keep you pushing you ahead. Then the question is, I know there is a very big question in the market that will AI replace me? Uh, Coming into my experience in 8 years, I don't think AI is going to replace me soon. Maybe I don't know again after 5 years, but I don't think it's happening very soon, which is there. Again, why I say that? Because I feel it started removing some of the boring part of my work, which is there, which I used to like, hey, this is why should I do that? Those kind of a work. And it helped me to be a more efficient into it. Just an example, when I'm giving this presentation, I used Gemini to help me to come up with this presentation. The question is, the boring part for me was to finding out that the data I'm talking about, where exactly is linked to, what article is coming from, or what exactly a research we have done. In a traditional process, what I used to do is I used to go to Google search, read every article, figure out what is relevant for me, and then used to put it. Now I can do it the same thing, like maybe 2 days of work into 1 hour, that kind of thing. So, but the important part is what I want to present. That is still relevant. That is, as a human, I am still in the loop to figure out what is relevant, what needs to be present, what makes sense to the audience, those kind of a thing. So, but it's more of the redundant task I wanted to remove. So as you're moving across your career, you need to look into different aspect how this help. There are a lot of different again field you are working on, as a developer, as a designer, as a salesperson, as a marketing person. You need to see how it's impacting your career going forward, and you need to take that. So there are a lot of people who like, I don't want to accept AI in my job, but it's more of a skill set. I keep on saying that it's more of an enhancement we have done. So let's figure out how to start using those kind of a thing, which is there. So in industry, we started building softwares not for a very specific user, but we are building AI to learn the user and adapt the software according to it. So right now, like all the product I work in my career is more into that the AI is learning user. We stopped learning user that this is exactly the one, but it's more that AI learns the user and try to figure out how to build those product, what exactly the user needs at that point of time, which is there. That's why it's very important that you have that hybrid skill set of logic and empathy as a human. Logic is important, that where you are putting out a lot of machine related things, whereas empathy to figure out how you connect that to the user, which is there. And I think it goes with most of the job role which I right now look into the market. Every job role have the similar kind of a perspective which is there. Um, just to give a bit about my journey, how exactly it was from there. So I was a computer science engineer. I did my degree in BTech computer science. And that time I was not aware of design again, which was there. So I started learning design more from a pocket money perspective. I used to design. I get to used to get pocket money. So that was a driving factor initially. But I moved again. I got my career into a full stack developer in Bangalore. I moved there. I worked for 6 months. Then I figured out that I wanted to build a from a I would say house of the like architect of the product rather than a very specific part of the product which is there. And that's why I thought that can I move it as a designer, which is there. And fortunately I was got an place into a startup company in Bangalore that time, and I was working with them as a hybrid of design and developer. So I used to design, I used to code. Now from a developer I moved to as a designer and developer. It's more of upskilling myself into that. And in this and that company I started upskilling more into design. But what I realized is it's not that I can do everything, like design also, develop also, those kind of a thing. So I need to unlearn something. And that's where basically it came that okay, developer skill set, I don't want to move ahead with that. That's a skill set which I wanted to keep it, but I don't wanted to move ahead with that. So my skill set, like upskilling, was always into design, and I left developer somehow behind, but it was always my foundation base, so that it helps me in design my career. From that I moved to a company like Amazon, where I learned how we make product for millions of users, like an Amazon making product for the people who buys, also making product for the people who sells, which is there. And then when I moved to Microsoft, I saw the era changing towards the AI. And before that, it was more of understanding the nuances, theoretical part which was there. But when we change to the era of AI, everything changes. Like from what kind of product you are working, what is your thinking. So it was more into thinking rather than figuring out how to do it, and whether it's possible or not. So I moved to that kind of a thing. So that's why I say that it's not only your portfolio because of which you are getting hired. It's more of the system thinking which is there. So you need to take care that you have a system thinking, because again tools, maybe relevant skill set keep on changing in the market. So but system thinking still remains same, and we need to start looking AI as that kind of a era where we are not taking it as a very specific feature, but it's more of the baseline. I keep on saying that there is a very good example around a kind of a cycle, bike and car. So if you see in cycle, you need to focus, you need to balance, you need to put effort in terms of driving it. Then we move to an era of bike where basically now you don't need to put an effort. It's more of balancing and focus. And then you got maybe into the car where you have now focus. So you are now putting more into a very specific category. And maybe tomorrow when we have self automated driving cars, now you are looking more into the goal, from where to where you wanted to reach and why you wanted to reach, rather than how can I reach and 10 different things around it. So that's how your career is moving, which is important. And in Google, we are doing that. We call it as an agentic era, which is there. It's like from AI now we moved to an agent. Like, what's the difference? Again, AI is more into where you talk, it gives an answer, and maybe do certain things around it. Whereas agent does multiple tasks. I tell what is my goal, it figure out what are the different things I need to do to achieve my goal. For example, I want to buy a laptop, and my requirement is XYZ. It figure out which website to look for, what is the best laptop after comparison, what is the price, what is the ROI around it, which is there, and come back to me like, hey, this is the option you wanted to buy from maybe Amazon or Flipkart, those kind of a thing. And my goal is to buy, I get it, I buy. So that's how we are looking to like the how the world is changing. um, so just to wrap up the entire thing, it's very important to understand why we wanted more than degree. The first thing we talked about is selective 1%. That's something why basically we need more than one degree. How do I segregate those 1% people, which is there? So at big tech, the challenge for us is we see a lot of degree, millions of degree. The question is, how do we evaluate candidate? So we start looking at more of like, everybody is qualified, but as a hiring panel, maybe I not look into more of a paper and exam, but I look more into from your experience, maybe an internship, maybe a project, maybe again for a developer a GitHub code, or maybe for a designer maybe you have worked on some kind of a real project. That's helpful, which is there. And people ask that whether my GitHub portfolio is important and all those things. It relevant to your again job role, what kind of job role you are looking for, what kind of career you want to build, which is there. But always proven, as I said, proof of work is very important in any kind of job you are actually looking for in any company. It's not only with big tech, but I feel most of the companies moving. So that's why we say that 1% are not the exactly the smartest people in the room, but the people who are not inside a box. Like, you are not very specifically bound to a specific place, but you are upscaling yourself based on what is required in the industry. You're working on more of the project proof of work, showing in the interview that what is your proof of work, to help us assure that the candidate I'm hiring do have an experience around working. Experience doesn't mean that you need to be work in industry, because again, coming out of college, if somebody asks 8 years of experience, it is impossible to achieve that, because you are coming out of the college. But when we ask for an experience, is more into what are the projects you have worked in, maybe in college, real problems around it. If you have got into an internship, great, because that's where it is easy for us to evaluate that you have already worked in the industry, so we know that you can work over here also, which is there. Um, Also very important in your career that uh, I know a lot of people, when I do mentorship, that a lot of people just look for maybe the top companies, which is there. I always that it's not that you always have to be there in day one. It is a process. Even I work in Google today. It's not achieved in one day. It's like a 8 years of journey, which is there. So it's important that you have that journey. It's not that always you need to be land in the first go. If you land it, it's a great thing, which is there. Sometimes it can be a bad thing also, because sometimes like you land into this big career, big companies, and maybe you are overwhelmed with so many things, maybe you fail. So it's more of that you practice before you reach there, so that you can perform better. That's also like a path to look around, which is there. And yeah, again, with that, like wrapping up this, thanks again for calling me and with this. And yeah, as I said, go beyond degree, start building future. So that's what we are looking for, candidates into the industry, which is there. So yeah. Anna, are you there?
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Sujit. So
Yeah.
I have signed you some of the questions. I'll just
Yep.
asking you, and
Yes.
I think So first question which we got is, if big tech companies value skills over degrees, what should I start focusing on from the first year of college itself?
Yeah, I mean, see, it's important to have your education also same time as your upskilling, because that's a base foundation for you. Maybe your degree will help you to figure out what's the foundation. What you should focus on, maybe if you're there in the first year, is how do you upskill? How they're relevant to the market, which is there. Like I know that in computer science, I have read microprocessor and all that. It's still there in the colleges, but the thing is, do you need that very specific thing in the market, or you need a different skill set which is more into ML skill set or AI related skill set which is there. So start looking into those kind of a thing which is relevant to your degree but upskilling, and maybe not present into it. The best thing to do is work on a project or get some internship around it. Anything works. It's on ground training is better than just sitting and learning. So that's the best part to start with.
Okay, I think the you that solves lots of our doubts. Moving forward, the second question was, how can we build strong portfolios or profiles if the college doesn't offer us good exposure or projects? Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I felt also the same when I was in the college that I didn't had that exposure. My question is, do you really need that to be given by the college? I feel right now we are in a place where you are capable of getting those if you are not getting from some place. So if you are looking for a project, definitely you can start thinking around a project. If you're a developer, there are a lot of GitHub open community where you get projects to contribute to. If you're a designer, you can look for some of the problems which is present in the market. There are a lot of design challenges happens which is there. So yeah, I mean, it's I feel there is enough exposure or project present outside of your college. Maybe that was not there in the past, but right now we are changing. The world is changing and we have definitely. So I would say start relying on those, start relying on your capability rather than maybe a college is able to provide you or not. If they're able to provide you, it's a great thing, it's a great support, but you should be capable of yourself, because once you, the issue is if you start relying on that, then once you go into the first job, then the biggest difficulty is how do you move to the next, which is there. So that's where the company will definitely not help you to move to the next. It's your capability. So start building that before you actually go to the industry and had to learn that skill set.
Completely. I would say start learning, commit mistakes, learn from them, and then move forward.
Yep.
Yeah, so Jeet, so the next question is product thinking only relevant for product managers and designers, or does it matter for engineers and non-technical roles too?
Yeah, I mean, again, a great question. The industries move. So 5 years down the line, we used to say that designer also don't need a product thinking skill set. It's more of that the product manager does it, comes to us, and we used to work. But it changed right now. Now, engineer also need product thinking skill set. Now, you must have heard a lot of around vibe coding trend, which is going into the market. The question is, how do you vibe code if you don't have a product thinking skill set? Which is there. So it's important. It's a really good skill set at every job role, technical or not technical. When it goes to non-technical, when you are, for example, if you're a marketing person or sales person, you're selling a product, you need to still have your product thinking skill set. How do you sell a product to a client if you don't have that product thinking? How do you pitch a better version of the same product and come back to your team that, hey, your thinking was not able, I was not able to sell your thinking, but I have a better thinking, which is advanced thinking than yours. And I was able to sell it to the clients. Let's build towards that. So that's more of a, again, non-technical person also worked around product thinking. So product thinking is very generic for me. I think it's a skill set everywhere you will need. It's not that you are, if you're just building a product, I see every problem as a product rather than it's actually a real meaning of product. So yes, technical, non-technical, engineering, it definitely matters, which is there.
Yes. Moving forward on this also, I have a question. I want to
Yeah.
get into Amazon. How do
Yeah.
big tech companies evaluate product thinking during interviews for fresher roles?
Awesome. The first thing is I don't know how to get into Amazon. Even I don't know till now how I got into Amazon. I mean that's a thing. Even if you ask me Microsoft, Google, I don't know. It's more of what interview I gave, the case studies I worked as a designer into it. Now, coming to consideration, how do we evaluate product thinking skill set? So there are different rounds happens in this company. So we keep on calling that this company have 5 round, 6 round, 7 round kind of a thing. It's not that we ask every same question in every round, which is there. Every round is a very specific to a different skill set, and product thinking is more of for example, if you're working like I have a first hand experience as a designer that as a product thinking, we have something called as very much around a whiteboarding round where somebody comes to me and like they give a problem statement and like solve it, figure out. Now I solve it maybe from a designer's perspective. If you're maybe a marketing guy or a salesperson guy, somebody comes to you and gives you a similar kind of a problem statement like how do you sell this product to your client, which is there. So there can be different ways of understanding product thinking skill set, and every company do have their own specific, I would say, principles or kind of thing they look around, which is there, and it's readily available across web, so you can easily find out how do they do that, which is there. And I'm just talking about product thinking skill set, but as I said, there are multiple round. There is something called as behavioral round. Now that is relevant to every person in this room because we try to figure out how good maybe you are a team player, whether you will be a good fit to my team, and it is a very important round. It's not, it doesn't works with how much as a designer I know maybe the tools. It's more of that, what are the teams I have worked in the past, how do I work in a team, how do I accept feedback from different people, how open I am, and those kind of a thing. So yeah, different rounds we have, different kind of candidate, and the people who evaluate are very experienced people in the industry. They have been working in the industry for a very long time who evaluates this skill set. And as I said, we have a very specific guidelines into like how do you evaluate those, and it evolved with time, which is there. So that's how we do. If you're looking for a very specific company, it's very easy, you'll get it in Google that how do they evaluate those skill set. But yeah, I mean that's the answer to how do they evaluate product thinking skill set. But again, getting into Amazon, I'm again not sure how did I get into it. It's more of the interview and all those things.
Completely aligned on this, Sujit, and we are receiving lots and lots of questions. So moving forward, the next question is, I am a pharma student and I want to work in tech jobs in companies like Google and Microsoft. Suggest
Yeah.
how can I come into tech roles?
Okay. I think one of the thing we need to understand in this room is Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Apple are a very consumer facing company. That's why maybe they are a very big company which we are looking and just focusing on it. There are great companies. Maybe if you're a pharma student, there are great pharma companies into the market who maybe are kind of giving you better than opportunity than Microsoft, Amazon, and all those things. So it is very important that you figure out what is relevant for you. It's not that what's relevant to the world. There are 100 things which is relevant for the world, but maybe not relevant for you. For example, if you just see my career and just follow it blindly, the problem is I'm a designer. Maybe as a pharma student or a marketing student, you may not get the exact same result what I got it because it's different. It's not that same thing fits for everybody. So, but if you really look for this company, again, you need to see do they really need this skill set. Now coming to Google, Microsoft, I know that we do have, there is uh, again a product, it's a very product specific. We have some health products around it which is there, who hires again doctors also, which is there. So it's more of a product we research because Google and Microsoft is very much invested into the health industry. We have a lot of product around health industry, so we do hire doctors, pharma students, like pharma skill set people, which is there. So again, research analyst around that. But the thing is very niche. which is there for this company. But if you go to a health industry and look for those company, then it will not be a niche, it will be a common, because that's what they are hiring for. So my question is, if you're a pharma student, if you want to move your career into tech, then it's a different question. But if you want to move ahead as the same place, then I think your target should not be Microsoft and Google. Your target should be somebody in the same level in the pharma industry, that kind of a thing. So it needs to be what kind of company you're looking for. It's not that what's the exact name of the company which is there.
I think that solves the doubt of the student. And moving forward, Sujit, this is from your one of your personal experiences. You moved from computer science to UX, and what skills helped you pivot? If I also
Yeah.
want to come into design, what portfolios should I work on?
Awesome, great question. Yeah, that's very close to me, my journey technically. But what I
Mm.
say is, when you're moving from tech skill to design, I would not say it's completely different. Till now, the tech helps me to understand when I'm designing different products, to understand what's happening in the background. Because if I don't know what's happening in the background, it's difficult to design the front side of it, which is so that part helps me. But to move completely into a design career, I started working on my portfolio. Like as a designer, the portfolio is more into the case studies you work on or designs you work on. And I started, as I said, in college. It was more from a pocket money perspective. I was into print media. I was designing posters. I used to get some 500 rupees. That motivated me into more into like, hey, should I do design, because I'm getting money? It's a huge thing for a college student, which is there. And that helped me to build a portfolio, not knowing that I was building a portfolio. And that helped me again to get into a startup, which is there. And in the startup, the main challenge was into the startup where I like around 1.5 year, 2 year, I upskilled myself into different designer skill set, which is relevant to the market, which is there. And that's where I was able to crack interview with Amazon. And that was not cracked in one day. I applied 1 year before, I got rejected. I got a call 1 year after when I got rejected. So it's more of that 1 year it took to get another interview, which is there. But during that time, I started upskilling. So for designer to upskill, you need to definitely work on your portfolio. Portfolios are like the case studies you work on. If you are looking for a product designer, there is something called as graphic designer, brand designer. For them, it's more into what are the branding thing you are working on, what are the like more of a visual part you are working on. There are somebody who are illustrators also. They look for more into illustration skill set. So in design also, it's not designer. There are different aspects inside design which comes. These are small branches, which is there's like developer also have front end, back end, and that also there is segregation. In designer also we have similar way. So if you're looking for a very specific path, you need to see what is relevant for them. As a product designer, for me, a case study was very relevant. And yeah, I build it by myself. But it's not that you need to be always. There are a lot of different paths there in the market. If you are really interested, definitely, if you want to look forward and see what are the different goals around it, and like what is the path towards those goals.
Yes. Now moving forward, Sujit, the next question is: can students from tier three colleges get into MNCs by learning DSA and web development? And as AI is growing, should I also learn AI? And if yes, what and how should I learn them?
Awesome. So yeah, I don't think right now tier three college is a barrier for you to get into a big tech company or a company, any company. We stop looking into very specific design degree from which college XYZ. For example, right now don't people don't ask me which college you got pass out with, what is your degree. It's more on what exactly I my projects are. Maybe because you're coming out of college, there is a possibility because we don't have anything else to basically ask you. But if you have projects, which is there, as I was talking about, then that overpowers your degree, which is that. Then it's not relevant for me to look into very specific, but it's more relevant for me start looking into your project. Coming to DSA, I know it's a very common thing in the developer industry. The thing is, what is right now relevant for a developer? I would definitely ask you to reach out to a developer and see, because my career is more into design. So I may give you a wrong advice in terms of what exactly is relevant right now when you are sitting for a developer degree. So it's great. It's good that if you connect to a developer and figure out what's relevant right now for a developer in the market, which is there. Coming to AI, yes, AI is growing. As a student, you should learn, irrespective of you are a developer, designer, marketing student, pharma student, sales student, anything. It is very important to see what you have to start looking into is how it's impacting your career, how AI is influencing your career or helping in your career. That's something you should start looking into. Learning, I think we have enough resources right now openly available in the market to start learning AI. So I don't, and again, free of cost. I'm not talking about paid thing or something like that. It's mostly free of cost, which is there. So enough data, enough resources is available to start your learning process, to reach to that level where you feel confident that I want to pay and learn more. That kind of a level. So we have enough data in the market. Start looking for those data. I always say that use AI to learn AI. Like it's a very great example of that. AI teaches you how to basically work on AI. So yeah, definitely look for those opportunities which is there. It's readily available. You just need to start looking into it to figure out. So the biggest challenge which I've seen in my career also, when we start thinking but we have not started, because the loop goes on for infinite. So it's important that you need to start, and then automatically you start getting where to go. But till the time you have not started, there are 10 different thoughts. I should start like this, that, and it keeps on revolving around me. It happens with me also. So that's why I always say that go into it. You will figure out what is right, what is wrong. It is important to also learn what's not right in the market. Nobody is there to teach you those things. So important that what is not right, so that you don't do that again back. So yeah, I mean, that's how you can start learning AI. It's there in the market everywhere.
Yes, Sujit, completely aligned on that. So one more question from related to your experience. So the student is asking, I have switched from software engineering to UI UX and consider myself as a fresher in the UI UX industry. Should I mention my UI UX experience? Should I mention my software experience on my resume? I am hesitant to list HTML, CSS, and JavaScript since I don't want recruiters to assume I'll handle development work.
Awesome. Great question. I do have exactly same resume what you're talking about. I still mention my first job because it's a job. I have done it. I have an experience, even if it's a 6 months, which is there. I still get some of recruiters message that, hey, do you want to get into front end development? I think it's again based on a very vague assumption that I'm a developer. I am not. I've moved completely into design. But when your resume goes to a company, a recruiter is evaluating, even if you have mentioned your developer experience. See, the thing is, there is a human involved into the system. Even if, for example, tomorrow there is a AI system reading something, it's not that we figure out that you are a developer. You have already switched, as you said, as a UI UX developer, designer, and you will definitely have relevant experience around it. So past you have developer is completely fine. I would say it's your resume should say that, because that's your past. Like tomorrow, when, so if you get into a company, and then what happens is you need to provide all the documents around your experience and all, that time you have to definitely provide that document. And then if something comes out, the problem is there is a challenge of hiring, which comes into picture. So that's why to hide a very specific developer skill set, it's not hampering your career, which is the any is irrespective of you have moved from a developer, or you have moved from a sales, or you have moved from a marketing perspective to a UI UX. I have talked with people who have moved as a from a dentist to a UI UX developer. I have done mentorship session with them. So it's completely fine to mention that your background experience, which is there. So we will not evaluate just because of your background experience. We'll evaluate based on what is your current experience, what you're looking forward towards it. Yeah.
Okay, students, we have a lot of questions and we have just 10 minutes remaining for the session. So I'll be taking last 2 to 3 questions for the session. The question is, Sujit, do adding a personal project in portfolio helpful for the recruiter to hire?
Okay. Let me stack rank the projects. The first, I would say, if you've done a industry project, which is more of an internship or something around it, that's the first stack rank. I say the preference of that is always great. The reason, when you're working for an industry project or an internship project, you're working on a real problem in a real challenges, which is there. See, solving a problem, everybody, I feel at this point of time, everybody will somehow reach to the solution. The main challenge is to work around the constraint. It is very difficult. Now when you work on an internship, maybe your PM or tech or maybe business have 10 different constraint and you figure out a solution around it. So that is something I wanted to look around. So that's why the preference of those is first. Then comes, there are open communities where you basically contribute. Like if you're a developer, you must have known about GitHub community, different communities around it. As a designer, again, we have different ways of sharing those. So that's next, which is there. Then comes maybe a personal project, which is there. Because again, as a college student, I would not expect that you will always have a experience project. So personal project works, just that ensure that your personal project is relevant. It's not that. So I'll take you an example of a designer, because I have done a lot of reviews of portfolio, and people just do a revamp. Like I see a very common revamp of Amazon. The problem for me is there are a lot of designers who are there in Amazon, great designer. They must have thought of the same thing, but they have not done it because of, there are different reason, which is the UX reason, which is there. So don't just revamp just because of a revamp. Maybe figure out a problem which is present over there and work around it if you're a designer. Same for developer also, same for other segment also, which is there. So personal project, I would say, is the last preference, if I just stack rank. But considering you are a college student, that's relevant. But as soon as you have an experience of like 1 year or 2 year, my first preference is always what you have done in the past. That's the first experience. And then I, like, if I don't find anything, then only I go for a personal project kind of a thing. But yes, that's how it should be stack rank when you're presenting, which is that.
Completely correct, Sujit. So, this is the, I think I'll be taking 3 more questions, guys. So, the question is related to you, Sujit. What was the hardest mindset shift you had while you were moving from engineering to design?
Yeah, I mean, the hardest mindset which I had to kind of give away is, I was talking about learn and unlearn. It's more of unlearn and learn kind of a thing. Because when I was moving, I thought that no, I will always keep on doing coding, even if I'm a designer. The challenge which I faced is I cannot be in two boat at the same time. It's very difficult. It's very challenging. I always say we have a very specific memory, or our mind have very specific limit only till the time I can accept, which is there, and after that it's not possible humanly. So what I had to think that it's okay to unlearn certain thing, it's okay to let go certain thing, which is there. Because if you start seeing everything, it is impossible right now. As a designer, what I see is in the market, everybody is doing vibe coding. I'm completely okay with vibe coding. The only thing is I need to be seeing that how it is helpful to my relevant product maybe, or skill set, those kind of a thing, rather than just doing it. Because then I'm too much of taking data, like information into me, and maybe I'll be not able to carry those forward. So it's important, this line, that unlearn and learn. You need to have that mindset that is okay to let go certain things to achieve something else, which is there, which you're looking for, which is relevant for you. Going, you cannot do everything which is there in the market. So figure out what is relevant for you, what is your goal, how do you want to. If your goal is not learning that tool, please don't learn it, because the entire world is learning. You don't have to. So just figure out what is helpful for you. That will make you relevant in the market also tomorrow. Otherwise, if you're just learning what the entire world is learning, the trend comes, trend goes, so it will go with that. But if it's important for your skill set and upskilling you, go ahead with that. That's the one thing which I had to change my mindset around.
Great, Sujit. So, moving forward to the second last question, what would be the five top AI skills you would suggest for us, like for the students to learn in this AI era? Like the
Awesome.
top five skills
Yeah.
everybody should learn, both from the tech and the non-tech backgrounds.
Yeah, I think AI itself is a huge thing. There is no skill set, I would say, under it. It's more of that you learn AI. And how do you learn AI is based on your requirement. As a designer, my use of learning AI is different. As a developer, your use of learning AI is different. And maybe as a salesperson, your learning of AI is very different. So there is no specific that this is the five things which needs to be taught. You need to understand how to utilize. So the skill set you need to learn is how do you use this tool to help enhance your capability. So it's an add-on. I always say AI is an add-on. You need to fit in the right place to enhance your skill set which is there. So again, as I said, we have changed the era. There was a era where we were learning five skill set around a specific tool. For example, maybe Photoshop, you are learning five skill set inside Photoshop. But we have changed to era where you learn AI and AI figure out what exactly you need for what is the skill set. But the skill set is actually learning AI. That's important. I would not say right now. See, if I tell you five different skill set, the problem for me is tomorrow after 6 months it will be change. It will be irrelevant in the market which is there. So that's why is like system thinking I was talking about. So it's important that you know system thinking. It is easy to change because from AI right now, if you talk, like a lot of people are talking about agentic experience. So we have moved from AI to now agentic. So if I just know AI, then the problem is for me to move to agentic. So that's why I learned the system thinking around it, how to use that, how to use this capability for my help. And now it is easy for me to transition into the next part, which is agentic, which is there. So that's why it's important that you understand the core part of it. I mean, fundamental always remains fundamental for me, which is that top things keeps on changing. So fundamental thinking remains same. So product thinking, system thinking is the skill set which is important, and that will teach you how to use this AI tool for your enhancement based on what is your goal going future.
Correct, Sujit. So, students, the last question for Sujit for the session is Sujit, if you were starting your career again today, what would you do differently in your first 12 months?
Yeah. So I mean, I would have, being a farmer, that's my future goal. Because hearing so many things into the market that AI is coming, take the job, I would have happily done a farming. But yeah, jokes apart around it, to see my career, I see I would have started designing maybe early. So I didn't had like during my college days, I didn't had knowledge about AI, not AI, sorry, design, which was there. That how to pursue that career, what are the resources around it, what exactly design is around it, what are the softwares around it. So I think I didn't explore it. It's like I accidentally came across it, and that's how I learned it. So I would have changed that. I would have started understanding, talking to people and figuring out how exactly to be into that career. But I was not. Maybe again it's a problem of resource around, because that time people were not talking around. I wanted to do a formal study around design, but I was not aware that there are colleges in India which teaches design. I was with just a mindset, doctor, engineer, those kind of a thing, which is there. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of careers right now which is there into the market. So I didn't had that knowledge. So I would have changed that 12-month to move into my specific goal, which was there in the future. Like, how do I do a design? How do I know things around? So it's important also to know the theoretical part also. It's as much as it's important for a practical thing, it's important to know the theoretical part of it also. It's not that any knowledge is a bad knowledge to have. Practical helps you to figure out how the world is moving, whereas theoretical gives you a fundamental base around it. But I never had it, but I learned it myself. So that's why, like, maybe I was able to catch up that. But if I get again to start it, I would have start in a different way, to focus on this very specific thing. I was maybe not focused during that time. I was like, anything I do, I'll figure out kind of a
Mhm.
career. But yeah, I would have been more focused, upskill myself into that segment and change the way.
Completely agreed on this, Sujit. So, thank you everyone, and thank you, Sujit, for such honest and practical insights during this session. And I would request everyone who joined the session to please go and connect to Sujit over his LinkedIn. And if you have more questions, please drop him a text, and I think surely he'll reply to you.
Yeah, I will
And for
definitely just bear with me in terms of timing. Sometimes I reply late, but yes, I try to connect and reply to everybody as much as possible. So yeah, happy to connect people over LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yes, and to everybody who attended the session today, just remember this, that your degree may start your journey, but your ability to learn, adapt, and work with AI will actually define what your career is ahead. And
Yeah.
with that, I come to the end of the session. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Have a great evening, have a great weekend. And thank you so much, Sujit, for joining us today. It was really great having you on board.
Thanks for calling me. It was an honor to talk to the people and answer the questions which is relevant in the market. So yeah, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
guys.